Hello everyone, welcome back to a brand episode of Trash Talk. I'm here with a very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Visionary, creative, greatest of all time, LtCobra. That's me, right here.
Well, diving straight into it, a lot of people will know you for a lot of your commentary stuff and now your video essays and stuff. I feel like a lot of people will know you for your Pixar one. I feel like that did really well. Um, but like with my guests and stuff, I like to start right back at the beginning of their channel and sort of like make like my way to like right to the new stuff of their stuff for content. So just diving straight into it, what got you started on YouTube and like what sort of stuff did you make right at the beginning of your channel?
Well, I remember like when I was a little boy, I used to watch like the Smosh and the PewDiePies and the
Hmm.
KSIs and stuff. And I remember like it must have been like 2014. I was like, I don't know, you know how like when you were a kid, you actually thought you could be like the next PewDiePie, so you got out your iPad and you started like recording your front couple of
Yeah.
videos. Yeah, I was like sat there and I was playing like FIFA 14 and Minecraft and like Uncharted 3 and shit and just like that's where I like very started. I think it was like 2014. I made a few videos and then I normally like archive all my stuff, but actually I quit my channel on that and deleted everything. And then
Yeah.
in like I think in 2015 I got a capture card and I started making like Black Ops 2 fucking I don't know if you watch like FaZe at the time when they were doing these like cut commentaries where like you would
Hmm.
basically live make the video while playing Black Ops 2 or Modern Warfare 2 or whatever, and then you'd splice it all up. So it was like sort of like commentary, and that's what um I used to do when I was about like 11, 12 for a bit. Um and then I kind of quit that and I came back under the A list I have now. Probably like in 20 late 2016 early 2017 and
Hmm.
made like a few um like videos on Overwatch and like basically some of my like very first commentary videos, but this was before I even knew there was like a community or like where to find anyone, so I was just kind of making these videos and then still hanging out with like real life people. I must have only made 10. And then in 2018 I you know got bored again because I had a problem where I would just basically like kind of make YouTube videos and then like, oh, I can't bother doing this anymore. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
play games with my friends or whatever. But in 2018, I like decided to start doing it again. And that's the most success I ever got was when I started a channel in March 2018, and then obviously I was doing commentary videos. Made that video on Just Destiny.
Hmm.
Uh, Ended up at the forefront of a bunch of drama with like Keemstar like covering it. Loads of these other YouTubers like following me. PewDiePie even like covering it on his channel or whatever. Managed to get to about like 20K, and then I kept trying to ride that wave and got to about like 38 or something. And then in about around 2021 and that dream stuff, I just kind of didn't really give a fuck that much. And I was going off to uni and I kind of just stopped caring that much about the internet and got in a relationship and stuff. And then in the summer of 2022, I was like, I lost my monetization on that old
Yeah.
channel. And I was like, oh, so this is kind of like the YouTube dream's actually dead. Like I've lost it. So I was like, right, no, I gotta earn it back now. A part of me was like, oh, I don't want it to go. So I made two videos. I made one about Andrew Tate and one I made three. I made one on Andrew Tate, one on Jeremy Fragrance, and then one on Cruelty Squad. And the videos just like they had like all right click through rate, but the impressions were just shit. Because obviously
Yeah.
I've left
Yeah.
my channel for almost a year and a half, so they just didn't promote it. And obviously a lot of my views were from like people that liked me covering like this Onision stuff, which is what like did well at one point for me, and all these different like people that wouldn't be interested in what I was trying to do now. So I was like, and kind of oh, I'll just start afresh and I'll put that Cruelty
Hmm.
Squad video on the new channel and I'll just go from there. And that started in like October 2022, and since then, I guess I would say I've done pretty well. I think I could have done a lot better. But when I went back to uni for my third year, in September, I just wasn't able to continue working. So I feel like I could be at a better position than I am now, but it's not the end of the world. And like I guess starting from zero and hitting 20K or whatever, that's still decent.
Yeah, 100%. And being able to do that not only on one channel but two channels as well, right? Like I know a lot of people will like do YouTube for years and not be able to pass like 1,000 subscribers, right? So it's still like a good achievement and like focusing on like right for just for now, like your original channel, like how does it feel getting involved into like that much like drama on such a big scale, right? Because you see like people getting to like drama all the time, right? If it's little creators or bigger creators. How does it feel to get involved like in drama on that scale and like get into a situation that gets spoken about that heavily?
I feel like I would say like I would feel differently about it now, but I feel like then I kind of really did enjoy it. And I
Mm,
always like saw that as the way that people got popular off YouTube. Like I would
yeah,
think like I thought like Aiden when he had his thing and that's how he got big, or like people that had been kind of fucked over and like or like even things like Lieutenant Corbis, how like she was known because Power shouted her out or whatever. Like I felt like that was the way that you you get your name out there. Not that I intentionally would try and cause problems for that, but then
yeah.
when it all came and I was like, oh, this is the big moment in this. And I definitely had a massive power trip because especially because I was only about 15, like just finishing high school. I was like, oh, this is like cool as fuck, and like everyone's talking about me and stuff. And that definitely, I think, impacted me as a person. And just I feel like personally, like how I was back then was like very different to now, or just how I like view things. It's
Mhm.
because I think a lot of people talk about like how stressful it is, but for me, like I was just enjoying being at the center of attention and stuff. Um,
Yeah, well, like a lot of people found you through that, right? And then maybe like stuck around since then, and it is pretty big, right? Especially like you said, for a younger content creator, right? Getting involved into something that big. I don't think you focus on like, okay, like well, maybe now if you got involved in something like that, you'd focus on more about reputation. You'd focus on about how that might affect you or affect others, right? Like you'd actually take things into consideration. When you're a younger content creator, you don't really care, right?
yeah,
You're like getting involved with some of the
especially
biggest
like
content creators.
yeah, it's like that's the one. Like you see, like, oh, hi, Alex just followed me. Oh, that's so cool. And
Yeah, yeah,
these
yeah.
people know who I am. I'm like, oh, yay.
And like it must feel like weird, like especially like younger, right? Like when I spoke to Aiden as well, right? He had a pretty similar thing with like blowing up younger, right? Like there is quite a bit of like when you get older as well, you realize like how much pressure as well, right? Like that realistically that had, right? Like I feel like you don't realize it probably in the moment because again, you're like riding the wave of okay, these content creators that I've watched or I know of are speaking about me. I'm involved in these big situations. It goes to your head. But there's like a lot of pressure riding on that for like a younger content creator.
I don't feel when I like look back, I'm like, oh man, if I spoke to the right people that would have like humbled me
Yeah.
or like put me on that. But at the same time, like I was really immature for a
Hmm.
15-year-old anyway. Like if you listen to how I sound, like I hadn't, grown up yet. So that's like a blessing and a curse. Part of that's like, oh well, I can negate blame for like not taking it and doing what I should have done or whatever. But I
Hmm.
can like I also think that a lot of people can look at what I was doing there and then now and go like differentiate between the person, be like, oh, that is clearly a different person. Whereas like I think, if you sound similar to how you were in 15 or you still make similar stuff, you can be like, oh, that's just the same guy. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, like you've managed to sort of like differentiate yourself from that time, right? Like I feel like just even comparing the content, right? Your content now is a like basically like you're going for that. I don't know if this can sound rude, but like that more like Dr. Skipper type video, right?
Yeah.
Um, like that style of content, which is definitely the style of content that is way more positive as well for like not only you but people watching, right? Like you might be speaking about like a Sony versus Pixar or whatever it is, right? And it might have like negative attributes, right? But it's genuinely fun, right? You get to speak about a topic that you want to speak about, with commentary stuff and getting involved in drama. It's all a lot more personalized in that sort of sense, right? You're getting involved with drama, your own opinions and that sort of stuff. Where with this brand new channel, like nobody's like dictating what you have to do really. You don't have to follow trends or act on certain things, right? You can speak about whatever you want whenever you want, which I guess is great, right? Like being able to go through like being a commentator to being like, what you are now. Like how does that feel going from like that sort of genre of commentary to what you do now?
Well, I would disagree and say like there is still like I feel like you still have to chase trends. I think that's with like any like content creator. It's like you have to do something current. I think the best thing for me is that like the problem that commentary people have is that they like to eat each other alive and they want to hold each other to like incredible standards, which I don't think humans are like that. For me, I like
Hmm.
having my circle and living in my real world and then kind of just making videos
Yeah.
for fun on things. And I feel like things get very emotional when big opinions are put into play about things and
Hmm.
you're kind of on Twitter and you're constantly having to like defend yourself or defend your point or you're going to war with people and stuff. I feel like just making a few jokes like look at this like cool thing that I'm interested in and like trying to say something nice or sweet at the end of the video and I feel like I just prefer that a lot more than having to wake up and sort of like prey on people having like
Yeah.
awful, like I'm preying on like that a new video game comes out so I can talk about it, or a new film.
Hmm.
Whereas like I feel like if I was making videos like I was, I'd be like, oh yes, come on, Wilbur, make a
Yeah.
response. I can make another bang on
Yeah.
this and stuff like that. And that's my only problem with stuff like that. It's just like I like this, and I feel like the people I'm surrounded with, I got shooters, you know what I mean? Like there's no people that I don't trust around me now. Whereas
Mhm.
like in that commentary, people, I'm sure people felt the same way about me. It just felt so toxic and infighty, and it's like, I'm 20. I don't want to deal with like high school drama on the internet where like one person's the enemy and then like, it's nothing to me. I just want to make my videos and like try and
Well,
make it
yeah.
now. You know what I mean?
Well, like I feel like the thing with commentary, right, is that you just can't shut your brain off from it, right? Like if you come offline and you just want to chill with some in real life friends, you're always thinking about it still, right? Because there's the stress of getting involved in drama, being called out. Because, like you said, right, like there's a lot of infighting within commentary, especially commentary like in the past couple of years and like past like 5 years or so. There's a lot of infighting. A lot of people make videos on each other, call each other out for no reason, right? There's no trust there, so you never really like leave it. Where the content you're doing now, like you said, you're waiting for like a brand new video game, movie, like whatever it is that you want to cover next. Like, and you can shut off from that. If you want to, you can leave that for a month or so. You don't have to revisit it. You can make an occasional tweet and then log off without having that any extra stress or worry that other people might be attacking you or something might be going on there, right? Of course, there's still stress of making the content itself and like making those videos, but it's way more of a passion thing now, rather than logging on and seeing if anybody's like, made a video on you, called you out, or anything's going on.
Yeah,
Because I feel like sorry, I
that.
don't mean to interrupt you. But like I guess as a commentator as well, right? You wait for people's tragedy, right? I feel like a great example is the recent allegations, right? Like you brought up with Wilbur and people like George Not Found, right? There are commentators that are just waiting for the next big like controversy and like life ruining allegation, to be able to cover it, right? Which just it's not good for anybody involved.
Yeah, it's a bit. It's just disingenuous. I think that's like the main problem with it. I think that
Yeah.
like a lot of people wanna play pretend YouTuber. I see it like a lot that people want to roll around in all this drama and stuff, but like not actually make the stuff. And where I'm at with my life is like, fuck me. Like I could have been a YouTuber like in 2020. I could have done it all then or whatever, or like, but I didn't. I kind of just I mucked about and was like getting involved in necessarily stuff and not just putting my head down. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing now is like I want to put my head down. I want to make a job out of doing this and that, and that's like where I'm at. I don't want to like be spending all my time on Twitter arguing
Yeah.
with somebody, or like going back and forth and having my reputation ruined because I said something or someone else. I just want to make videos, and if people don't like my opinion in some of the videos, that's totally fine. But we ain't talking about like my stance on some allegation. We're just talking about, oh, this movie not very good or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Like there is no like real stress there, right? Like yeah, you might have an opinion that someone doesn't agree with, but it's on a movie or a piece of music or a game or whatever it may be, right? Nobody is gonna like be so angry at you that you like have to stress over it or you have to worry about it. Where with commentary, it's definitely like that, right? You have an opinion, it can literally destroy anything you've built up, right? There is nothing there that will stop that. Well, with the stuff you're doing right now, you can have a way more fun with it. And like, do you prefer doing the stuff that you do now, like to the commentary?
Um, that like definitely for sure. I'm definitely more proud of it, and I
Yeah.
know it's better. The only thing is that commentary stuff is way easier to do what I'm doing now.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't know. Part of what I like doing is like I don't. The process is very like tiring. That
Hmm.
which the commentary stuff was never like that bad. I also think it's different because when I was making them videos, I wasn't. It's a typical commentary trope. It's like I wasn't going outside. I wasn't really hanging out with my friends that much. Like in the real world, I was just like sat on Discord and constantly doing stuff like this. Whereas now, like I have so many other distractions, so making a video becomes a bit more challenging. But even just the end product and like sitting back and seeing like what people say about it and stuff, it's like way more rewarding than when you make a commentary video and people are giving their opinions more than like glazing what you've made. You know what I mean? Like people, you make a video on
Yeah,
Will, but they'll be like, "Yeah, this is not right." Whereas I might make a video on the last one was on Kanye, and I'll have comments in the video going, "Oh, this is really well put together." Obviously, some people have their opinions or whatever, but I feel like there's a lot more love for what I'm doing, and a lot more personality can come across than like a dime a dozen sort of like commentary response where somebody's like, "We need to wait for more evidence for this allegation," which 200 people will already have said or whatever.
Yeah, like I guess with that, right? When you're covering a situation within commentary, a lot of people will just watch for your coverage, right, of that situation. They won't watch for you. They'll watch
Yeah.
because you're covering a topic that they're interested in or they want to know something, which is completely fine if that's what you want to do. But not really, like, especially now, a lot of personality comes through with that, right? With the content that you're making currently, you can speak about stuff that you like, your opinions on something. You can even express like how that like movie or like that piece of media has made you feel, right? Where with commentary, like the like, opinions are pretty like clear cut, right? If you're covering an allegation, you're not going to say that you like you support like the person that's done something, right? You're going to have maybe more of like a clear cut view on it, right? That maybe everyone agrees with. Because again, like we said earlier, in commentary, you have like the wrong opinion or you say something that is pretty much over for you in content or your own channel and stuff.
You look
So
at
no,
Jay
yeah.
and you know what I mean. Like it should be just
Mhm.
so self-destructive, and there's no like. I know that person, might have, they've done things that are wrong, but I feel like a lot of it is cutthroat. Like, oh, this person's this, and it's completely shut off, blackballed, or whatever. It's really hard
Yeah.
to like come back once your reputation has been just like destroyed or whatever.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
Yeah.
And like just going back to like your commentary days before we like speak about like the content you make now and stuff. I do want to ask you just while we're on the topic of drama, is there any drama that like when you think of your like commentary days and doing commentary content that like really sticks out to you?
Uh, I would say probably like that that dream stuff was certainly something. I
Hmm.
would I assume people are like very familiar with that. I would still
Yeah.
stand on business and not have ratted John out just because
Hmm.
I feel like the benefits that I've gained out of doing that outweigh what I could have done because a lot of people didn't like me for what I did, but at the same time a lot of people in the shadows respected me for never really coming out and saying, "Oh, John's been doing this behind the scenes." Because no, John's my friend. Like, if I don't give a fuck if one of my friends is like dealing drugs or whatever. I'm not gonna snitch. Like if he wants to lie on the internet, I ain't gonna do any part in that. I think my only problem with my involvement is that I was like winding up, dreaming the DMs and mucking about, and it ain't a good look when I'm looking back. But on that drama, I feel like I would do principally the same thing again, where like I would have just not said anything. I probably shouldn't have gone on live streams and said, "Oh yeah, John's not this and that," but I should have just stayed quiet. I would have done that again because even just I think you mentioned Skipper before. My relationship with him
Yeah.
probably only exists now based on the fact that he remembers that whole situation and how I didn't say a word, and he was like, "Oh, I like that. That's more friendship based than like another commentary person." You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I guess with that situation, like it is like a pretty well-known situation. Like with that situation, is there anything like I know you said that like principally like you know where you stand with that, but is there anything that you would do differently in that situation, just like with the all
My
context of
only
that stuff?
biggest problem was that like I would like I like things were going on in my personal life that I won't get into. Like I don't want to use that as an excuse,
Hmm.
but I was obviously just I wanted to go and like I was getting interested in everything that was on the internet to divert it from what was going on at home. So like I was enjoying being involved in that because it was distracting for me. And one of the things is that I went on like live streams that I think Augie was hosting, and they were talking about John and they were asking me questions, and I was like, "Oh yeah, no, John wouldn't do that and stuff." And I was like giving red herrings and that. And what I should have done is just like completely been out of it, not
Yeah,
said anything.
like I guess like you say it's like there's not an excuse for it, but like it is like a reasonable explanation, right? Like
Yeah,
behind
I
like why
don't
you
think.
acted like that.
Yeah, I don't like excuses. I'm more just like justifies. Like I feel like everyone has a reason of why they do something. It's like, oh yeah, I just wanted to be involved in something so I could take my mind off something else. But the
Yeah.
thing is with this whole situation, it's strange to me because we ain't talking about like a pedo allegation. We're just talking about some guy that like made up some lies to cover for me and him like trolling some other YouTuber on a Discord account in the pandemic. You know what I mean? That's what was
Yeah.
like crazy to me is that like I don't think anything. I don't think John ever really did anything crazy. Could have just like came back and made videos if he wanted to. Just
Yeah, like
fucked it and did it.
yeah,
That's what I did.
yeah,
That's what
yeah.
I'm doing.
Well, I guess it's how he reacted, right? Like he reacted like probably in a way that like has been memed to absolute shit. Like I feel like with how he reacted to the situation and stuff, it made like how he like got viewed by everyone as just a manipulative liar more than anything, right?
Yeah.
Like I feel like you came off looking way better because, like you
Yeah.
said, right,
I feel
sort
like
of
the
just you did what
expectation
you
wasn't
did.
there as well, you know. I feel
Yeah,
like there's a lot of people that would have gone, oh, I could totally see why he did that. And I kind of respect that because I don't think my dirty laundry will get outed if I was friends with this guy. And then obviously there's a lot of people that were frustrated by that and already people that I guess don't really like me. So I didn't really lose anything out of that. I think the only thing for John is that Turkey Tom had an entire wave of people from one of the biggest YouTubers in this space, like making an allegation against him. And he kind of just put his head in the sand, made videos, and now he has a mill. You know what I mean? Like it's
yeah, yeah.
you only get cancelled if you let yourself get cancelled. That's like the most truest thing ever.
Yeah, exactly. And I definitely feel like it's also down to the reaction you have, right? Like if you like come off as it hasn't phased you, you just continue with your content, you continue with how you're going, right? That hate's gonna like evaporate, right? It isn't gonna stay around because you're not giving it attention, which is what a lot of people want, right? Well, with John, he actively gave it attention, right? Like he made it so that like people meme on him still, right? People still talk about it.
Yeah.
Like people still actively talk about it and discuss it, and make videos on it or whatever. And it makes it so much easier to paint him out as a liar in other situations.
Yeah, if you type his name on Twitter, like you still get and go on
Oh yeah,
latest. I think it's crazy that people still talk about him because he's not doing anything, but like it like things like that is because you left without just putting your head down, you know what I mean? Just getting on with it. I don't think people would mention John Swan liar or anything if that wasn't the last thing they remember him doing. Because he made a few
yeah.
videos and then kind of just gave up. And he did that, Can I stuff or whatever.
And those videos are memorable purely because they were the videos straight after their situation, right? And
Yeah.
it was still really fresh in people's minds. And people were like branding his like downfall, right? Which genuinely he probably could have like like got with it, like kept making videos, like ignore it, and he would probably be in a way better position than he is now. Not saying that like if you get like accused of anything or that you're like a liar or whatever that you should just like bury your head in the sand. Um, but like there's a way that John Swan reacted to it, and that's not the way that you should react to a
Yeah.
situation. Like there are definitely better ways to go about it. If that's just making videos and responding maybe in a better way than he did. Because there's ways to respond to a situation like that, and of course, like he didn't do that. And is that a situation that like you still think of now and again? Because like I guess it is like a pretty prominent situation, right? Like it's something that big that happened, you know?
I only really just think about it when I'm like what could have been for John if he didn't do
Yeah,
that, or whether like something would have happened anyway. Because I think there's a lot of people that I know who like dislike me like to make jokes about like, oh, that's what John gets for like hanging around me, but like I don't really have anything to do with it. Like we mucked about and then like I don't have anything to do with the lie. And if John came clean about it, he would have only ever had the dream people like going, oh, so you were impersonating him. It's like, well, not really. Like I got suspended on Twitter for my name being Donald Trump. Like, was I impersonating Trump? And you know what I mean? Like, it's not.
yeah, yeah,
It wasn't ever that deep. But his thing was like, oh, but all the Dream people are gonna think that I'm impersonating Dream, trying to get him cancelled, rather than just mucking about. So I'll lie about it. And at the detriment of that, there were loads of people that really liked John, that defended him and made videos, and like look like idiots as a result of it.
yeah. I just feel like he definitely should just like, should have been clean
And
cut,
that
right?
was something that I had no part in that decision. John made
Yeah,
that
yeah,
himself because obviously I would want people to know because I think it's really funny and there's people talking about sex mods. It's like, well, they're my messages, you know. So I would have wanted credit for that. So I wasn't really behind any of the stuff he was doing with that,
hmm
and that makes me think that this would have just happened anyway. At some point, John would have like, you know, gone too far again and kind of gone too close to the sun because he was already tweeting stuff out like I'm uncancelable and he was fucking
yeah.
asking for it, you know.
Like he just definitely sealed his own fate, right? Like when you like lie to that extent, right? Because he just kept like digging his own grave, right? Like the more lies upon lies and stuff, and then like all it takes is one person to expose him, right? And like you said, the stuff he was tweeting and stuff, it's just like goading people right into doing that. You're
Yeah.
literally goading people into trying to find ways to cancel you, trying to find things, and people found that, right?
It's really
Um,
important that like you have your own circle that have your
yeah,
back, and he only had me. No one else knew about it apart from people very close to me because they were asking me about it because they knew it sounded like me, and I was like, Maybe, you know, they were
Yeah,
like the only people that knew, and John never knew that. So we're talking like, you know, Nick didn't know, and people that were close to him that he was really good friends with. So that's like way worse because now like we haven't just lied to a bunch of like ones and zeros on the internet. You're like your close circle is now like doesn't trust you, and like when that I feel like every YouTuber like kind of needs that army of people around them. You know, I feel like you need that unit of people. If you ever watch the Colin and Samir podcast, I think Dream talks about that, how him, George, and Sapnak got on a call and they like planned everything out. And I feel like you need that because sometimes you can't. Sometimes one person isn't given enough, so someone else has to like come in and be like, no, you know, motivate other people or whatever. If it's just
yeah.
if you shut yourself off to loads of people because of what you did, it becomes incredibly difficult to kind of rebuild your confidence or like your desire to do anything.
Yeah, and it just leads to like bad like public representation as well. I mean, like we sort of like touched on earlier. I don't think if you ask the average person now that interacts like in that scene, like what they know John Swan for, it isn't that he made like good edited videos. It's oh yeah, that's the dream girl, right? That's the liar.
Yeah.
Because again, he didn't have that like close circle. He didn't know how to deal with it, or like he probably did know how to deal with it. Probably he just didn't deal with it properly, right? He like acted too rationally, right? He didn't act, sensibly in that situation, which is unfortunate, right? Because like I know like a lot of people genuinely think his videos are good. So like a lot of people definitely view him as like wasted potential.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for
Um,
sure.
and for you, like just like is that something like that you look back on? Like I know we touched on like commentary stuff earlier about like moving on from it, but is that something you look back on and go like that's like a pretty like core example of what like the commentary community like its negative like attributes and stuff? Like could you look back at that situation and go like that pretty much sums up
Yeah.
a lot of the reasons why
I
I sort of took a step back?
yeah, I do remember like I remember my mum found out I was like making YouTube videos again, and this was like when I was doing the commentary stuff when I was 15, and you like try explaining to like some mid 40-year-old woman at a time, whatever, like you know, when you're sat there like ripping into people who are like for no reason, because we ain't just talking about like making videos about allegations, but this is like you find a YouTube video that's cringe and of kids and you're like talking shit, and she's like, I remember she telling me like it's so negative and it's like coming out in your personality. Now I don't think that was the case at the time, but I feel like definitely as time got on, that whole commentary thing was just like making my personality obnoxious as fuck, you know, like I was starting to be the kid at school, like where like somebody was watching the Sidemen, and I was like, "You can't watch the Sidemen; they're cringe,"
Yeah,
all that, all this stuff. I feel like the whole negative thing of that space breeds negativity, and I just don't think a lot of people have each other's backs in it. Everyone wants to be like very objective with everything they do, rather than like, yeah, I've got this friend. He does some bad stuff, but he's my friend. People don't have that, and that's what the real world has.
yeah,
I like about the group that I have now is that I definitely feel like I'm protected, and I feel like we are not just like YouTube friends, but we also like, we don't talk to other people, chatting shit and stuff like that. I've had the same circle now since like I was like 14 or whatever.
yeah,
So
yeah. Well, yeah, like it doesn't breed that negativity as the commentary community does. I mean, like the commentary community, the way it's set up and how people act in it, is that even the people that you think are your friends there, the one wrong move, wrong one tweet or whatever, I mean, you're the next topic, right? You're their next video.
yeah,
There is no loyalty there, right? Of course, there are some things that like even loyalty doesn't thing, right? Like doxing and all that sort of stuff, right? That does happen a lot. And there is stuff that like loyalty doesn't like, fix or help. And there are times that you've got to like take a step back and like reevaluate. But I mean, in commentary, you say like the wrong word or whatever, and the people that you think are your friends will stab you in the back for a video, which is like the harsh reality of it, right? But like it's good that you've managed to find that circle where you don't feel like that you have to walk on eggshells.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And for you, of course, like touching on like your brand new content, just like a generic question, like how does it feel making that style of content now? Like going from the commentary stuff to going to this stuff, like how does it feel in the sense of like, does it feel a lot more positive? Like, do you enjoy it a lot more?
Yeah, it's definitely way more fun, and it's fulfilling, and it's also I know that people are turning up for me. Like I knew when I was making some of the commentary stuff, I did have really good numbers at getting people to subscribe from views,
Yeah.
like better than most, I remember. Especially when I started doing like sort of the pyro stuff that was like ASOT or whatever. But in this stuff, I definitely pulled way more subscribers for like how many
Mhm.
views I get, which goes to show that like people are really like connecting with me personally because, you know, I don't think there's many videos out there that people make videos on. I don't know. I've got a video on Starfield, but there's like music of Carti in there and all this like kind of very normal stuff that you might not see from video game nerds that make YouTube videos on games and stuff. So there's a lot of like personality and stuff that I'm interested in that I can interject into all this content, and I feel like a lot of people relate to it, and that's why I feel the love of the audience and stuff now way more than I did when I was doing the commentary stuff, and that's just what I like about it. The process is still very difficult, but when I
Yeah.
sit back and I watch the videos with my friends that make really good stuff as well, and I respect, because the thing is with commentary, everyone kind of makes similar stuff. It's very hard, when people just kind of put the gameplay on, that's fine. That's what
Mhm.
some people like to do or whatever. But there are those videos where they're like reaching for the stars or something. Like, I think Gokunara made a video that was like really cool and interesting, and that's kind of what I want to do for my genre, is like make videos that really stand out. And people, I like watching them with my friends because I think they do videos that really stand out. So I also like, I guess, feel validated when they're like watching my
Yeah.
stuff and that.
Well, like you're putting a lot more effort into these videos and you get a lot more out of it, right? You get a lot more like positive interactions. You get people genuinely enjoying you for being you, right? Your
Yeah.
opinions, like your videos, and it's great, right? Like seeing like the video essay community and like the documentary stuff, really take shape because there is a lot more personality in it, right? If it's the editing, the stuff you say in the videos is a lot more heavenly, like personal, right? You can genuinely get an audience from the stuff that you like or a situation that you find genuinely interesting that you want to talk about, right? In the sense of like maybe for the documentary scene, you see a topic that you genuinely want to have like a retrospective opinion on, right? Like you can genuinely do that without like getting involved with all of the messy stuff with commentary. And so it's like in a similar vein with you and your content, you can express your opinions without really like a lot of drama coming from it, right? The most that's going to happen is someone's going to say that they disagree and they're going to explain why, which is nice, right? Like you don't have to worry about like your friends like stabbing you in the back or making videos on you, right? Like it's way more personalized. It's way more like a sense of a community, right? Like people that make similar content to you, but at the same time they make completely different, right? And you can actually trust and rely on them. Where with commentary, like I feel like we've established, you just can't do that. Um,
Yeah, I feel like
I,
you feel a lot because there's consequences to saying the wrong thing. It's like, if you fuck up an allegation or something, there are consequences for that, and you'll get
yeah,
shit talked and whatever. Um, And I feel like in this, it's like you could make a bad video where you had some things wrong, but at the end of the day, when you kind of like sit back, or you kind of speak to your friends about it, and they go, "Yeah, the video was wrong. Like you didn't say the right things. Your point wasn't valid, but you're just making a point about you know the new Dune movie. You ain't talking about
yeah, yeah,
somebody like allegations of sexual assault or anything. So
exactly.
you can really like minimize it and go, yeah, I'm just making a video, and I don't earn that much money at the moment, so I don't feel like I've done much wrong. I'm trying my best or whatever, and that's how you can view it, because you're not talking about things that are going to be talked about in a court of law or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Like what I like to think is like if you walk up to like the average person, right, that like isn't really online, and you talk to them like about a film and you mess up a detail, or you walk up to the average person, you speak about like a sexual assault allegation, you mess up the detail, what they're gonna care about more, or what they're actually gonna give a shit about? Because like they're not gonna care if you've messed up a detail, like about one of your films or whatever, or that you've said like a wrong opinion, right? But if you've messed up something like a sexual assault allegation, you've said something like there's a clear difference, right? There isn't as much stress, right? Which is great. Like I feel like these more personalized videos are definitely the way to go and move forward.
Yeah, it's like stress free. It's just
Yeah,
everything is focused on just the video. Like I don't, nothing is focused on side about being involved in drama, being like the race to make the commentary video on it. It just feels way more free, and like just
oh yeah, yeah,
me and my friends on it doing stuff, having fun, and that's just like the way forward for me at least now. I think in the future I plan on doing some stuff that I would guess is a bit commentary. I'd like to, if I'm being honest, I'd like to do that Paralife thing and just farm some
Yeah.
fucking money
Yeah.
on a side thing because I'm about to graduate university and I'm gonna do YouTube for a year. But obviously I'm at a point where I'm not quite there like in a full-time sense with revenue, but I'm edging to the point where if I do work hard enough, I'll be there. So that whole year I just want to do so many different things, so many different revenue streams just to make sure that I can not have to go and work a real job after that year. So I might do some commentary stuff, that like that para live kind of stuff, just to, always be on somebody's homepage or something, just to keep making stuff because obviously the stuff that I make on my homepage on my main channel takes quite a bit. But apart from that, like this just creatively like fulfills me way more than any of that stuff,
Oh
and it
yeah,
just makes me
definitely.
happier and prouder of what I'm doing.
Yeah, like you're putting way more into it, right? And I guess like just touching on the possibility of like doing something like a bit like Pyro Live, right? Like with that, it's great to have a second channel outlet, right? You can cover whatever with maybe a bit less stress with the actual content itself, right? You do not have to stress with the actual content being like highly edited or whatever. You can just do what actually like the commentary bit that worked well, right? In the sense you can just come on, give your opinions, and you can leave,
And
right?
it also has that, like, I guess the maturity that I didn't have as well when I used to do it before. Like, there's less chance of the takes being bad, or you know what I mean. I know what I'm talking about. I'm a bit older or whatever. So that's also a problem when you're making videos when you're 15, 16. You're talking about sexual stuff, and that you've never fucking had sex or whatever. You don't know what you're talking about. You never had a relationship or
Yeah,
like.
yeah, yeah. Like you can add something, and it's definitely
Yeah.
worth like doing like a second channel type of that, right? Like it's just easy to do. Like it's great content wise as well for your audience, right? Like while you're working on a bigger video on your main channel, you've got something there for like your audience to watch and enjoy while you're working on the bigger projects. And it works, right? It's something that's also, I feel like it's a lot more positive, right? Because you're just covering topics. You're not getting involved in serious drama or whatever. You're just covering a topic. You're doing the topic commentary stuff, maybe some fun gaming stuff on a live stream or whatever, and just having fun. There's no like extra stress there because again, it's a second channel.
It's just
Uh,
good stuff for like people that
yeah,
like you and want to hear what you have to say. Rather than
exactly.
me trying to outlet it to a completely new gen of people, whatever.
Yeah, like I guess with that, right? Like I feel like we've been talking about a lot in this episode about stuff like being less stressful, right? About like ways to like moving away from commentary, how that was a lot less stressful, right? Than like doing the commentary content and stuff. And like, would you say now that like doing YouTube is this the happiest point you've been making content?
I would say that when when I was in the summer, that was probably like the peak of happiness. I remember
Yeah,
like because that Pixar video is the biggest thing I've ever made. Like despite even
yeah,
having 38K on another channel, no video actually ever got 500,000 views. I think the most I ever had was 200,000. So like having a video hit 500,000 after really like excelling the stuff I was doing, keep on improving despite the fact that I only had like 2K on this channel. Obviously,
yeah,
I've got the knowledge of someone that's got more subscribers, but I was really trying to try hard and make things better. And like finally it paying off in that summer, and then doing other stuff and like going to the cinema and then getting home and making a video on it, and starting to see things that I didn't think were possible for me take off. Like I truly now have a vision where I'm like, yeah, this will work out, and I know it can, because the way
yeah,
I view it is that there are loads of people out there on YouTube that have 0 subscribers and might not know what they're doing, or 1,000 subscribers but don't have a vision. And I think it's a rarity that you can get, like, not many people get to 20K or whatever, and then at that point know what they want to do and have the confidence in what they're
yeah,
doing. So, like, at this point, that I have a lot of faith in myself. Whereas when I restarted this channel, I started doing stuff, I was like, I can just never see myself doing this full time, just because I had that old channel and I did daily upload for a bit, and it was just slowly growing but nowhere near after the whole Just Destiny stuff and that. I feel like that summer was a point where my eye was open, like, oh, okay, like I can do this, and I just need to get back to that point once university's
yeah.
over, where I can go all in.
Well, yeah, like just touching on what you said, right? Like that, like Sony, like Pixar video was a great power for. I remember seeing that like randomly come up on my TikTok feed, right? People re-uploading like clips from it and stuff, and it doing like millions of views on there as well, right? Like getting a lot of attention and traction over there. And like it's great to see that like after like so long of doing like the commentary stuff, like moving channels and stuff, that you finally found like a niche that's like suited to you, right? Like I feel like with commentary, it's such a big niche with like the stuff you can do, right? That a lot of people just don't really fit in, right? That they like make a couple of commentary videos and sort of get sucked into it. Where it definitely seems like you found something that like makes you happy and sort of maybe even fits with like more of your like personal and private life, right? Where you can sort of shut off, but like you go to the cinema, you see a movie, or you just watch around a movie you found, and that there you see content, right? Like, and
Yeah,
it's not
because
stressful. You just see
yeah, I
something
would
you want to
say
make.
like the videos that I made in that summer. So from July 21st, I made the Pixar video. August
Hmm.
13th, the Barbenheimer video, and 23rd of August was the Ninja Turtle video. There's 5 movies mentioned in those videos that I saw them all with my girlfriend, and then I was able to like talk about it in videos and make jokes about that. You know, I watched it with my girlfriend in some shithole or whatever. Like I just feel like a lot of it just I can be myself without any sort of worry about anything else. And I feel like that's the only one thing I want to come across to people, because I feel like a lot of people might see this as like high groundy, you know what I mean? Because there's nothing wrong with doing commentary stuff, but that just wasn't like what I wanted to do, especially when I went to university and I started like, you know, being a bit more social or whatever. I was just like, I kind of just don't want to, I don't want to like spend 3 weeks on Twitter to make a video. You know, I just want to make stuff now. I don't want to be a part of this kind of community and, you know, witch hunting and stuff. I just kind of want to make videos about me or things I like and be funny and that. I don't want to take things too seriously anymore.
No, definitely. Like with that, right? Like the majority of your research for that, right? Of course, like you'll be researching like other facts and stuff about it, like putting together scripts and all that sort of stuff. But your majority of the research there is like, you can go to the cinema with your girlfriend and sit down and watch a film, right? You can like sit down, listen to a piece of music. You can sit down, you can watch a TV show, whatever it may be, right? Like it's just fun, right? There are
Yeah.
like complete other benefits, and you're doing it like about something that you genuinely enjoy, right? Which is so much better, right? Like even then, if the video doesn't do well, you've had fun making it. You made something that you're proud of. You've made something that you genuinely maybe wanted to make for a while, or you had an interest in, right? Like, and that's what I find great about the more personalized style of content, especially now that's sort of taken over, right? Is a lot of these people just want to make a video that appeals to them, or something that's been in the back of their mind, right? If it's something like a movie they've recently watched and they want to talk about a specific thing in it, and it's been on their mind and they just want to make that content, that can genuinely do well now. There's an appeal for it. And I guess here you found something that works for you and like suits your life now, right? Like I don't know if this would be right in saying, but I don't know if the commentary stuff, how you were doing it then, would really work for you now.
Yeah, I don't think it would, because of just the the level at which I would have to constantly be, you know, waiting on stuff to happen. I just don't feel like I would ever enjoy the payoff. I like things appreciating what I have to offer, and I don't think
Yeah,
commentary does that, because I can't show people, oh, look at how funny this shit is, or like, you know, without just constantly dogging on some individual. Like, I like this, and I also like the fact that I can be inspired by so many things. I don't know, it sounds pretentious as fuck, but like I'll be outside and it'll be the rain, and I'll be like, oh, this might be cool, because in the end of my video, I'm gonna talk about like something a bit more serious, so I can use that in my video. Or
yeah.
I'll be sitting listening to my music on Spotify. Like, oh, this would be a really cool like opener for a video and stuff. Like, I'm able to look at like loads of different things now and put them in my content, because they're things that I like and I want to like share that with people. Especially, I feel like one big thing is like you might click on a video about Barbenheimer and you watch it and then you go, wait, that guy just mentioned Man United, the football team, and now he's got like Kanye playing, and he mentioned that he likes Black Ops 2 in a film about, and then he's talking about why the Barbie movie was good. Like, they're all
Yeah,
things that like I like. I'm a Man United fan. Like, I didn't think there would be some guy talking about, you know, stuff like that in this video, and that's really cool. Like, I want to represent people that, you know, may not want to watch, may not be that interested in watching film stuff, because it is normally, you know, diluted with people that have glasses on and will
yeah,
be, you
yeah.
know, this film, I want to take a less serious approach. I think that's the same with Skipper. Like, there's stupid jokes and edgy jokes and uh, videos of his dog or whatever in a video. Like, I feel like that's so much more real and people really enjoy that.
Yeah, well, like you end up connecting with like your audience and people that like potentially see your videos, right? You end up like connecting to them on like an actual personal level, right? Like you said, Like someone clicks on a video and like you're talking about their favorite movie already, or like a movie they enjoy, and then you bring up something else, like you said, right? You bring up a game, or you bring up a football team, or whatever, like something that they can connect to. And they generally feel the same way. You're building a strong connection with your audience, right? You're building up a connection of like-minded people that like enjoy similar things to you, and will genuinely like watch it because you enjoy it, right? Like you've got like a unique opinion on it, or it's something that they also like, which is great. And I think that the other positive as well, I feel like with this, is you can also have a life. With commentary, you don't, right? You sort of just sit there waiting, like, and if you don't do that, you miss the next big topic. Like you're not first to it, and there's a bunch of issues where here you can take your time. You can enjoy the thing that you're actually making a video on. You can take a step back and actually like enjoy what you're researching, what you're looking into. You can rewatch the film or whatever, and there's no rush because it's your idea, it's your unique opinion. Like there might be other people that have a similar opinion, but nobody's gonna make that exact video.
Yeah,
Like with
I
commentary, it
also think
is.
quality is never like really mattered that much when it comes to commentary either. Where
Yeah,
like I think that quality definitely is important with people coming around. People just kind of want the nugget of information. So like you kind of have to. I feel like I could make 10 videos similar to my stuff, and there'd be more chance of that doing massive for me than 20. You would have to make 20 commentary videos, but you couldn't leave them apart. You'd have to be like on it more consistent than the
oh
stuff that
yeah,
I
yeah.
make to like make an impact, because there's so many people that are coming for the exact same thing you're doing. There'll be, if Wilbur makes a statement out tonight, there'll be 20 videos that come out with each with one with a surf gameplay, one with somebody's face, one with like, I don't know, Five Nights at Freddy's gameplay. There'll be all
Oh
these
yeah,
very
yeah.
similar types of videos, whereas like you make something that really stands out to somebody, they're like, oh wow, like okay, that is different to what I'm used to, and I respect you for that, and they might stick around and stuff.
Yeah, like with that, right? There are so many people that will make a video on a situation or a topic, right? You've got to be first, right? So like quality doesn't really exist, right? Unless you're like more of the documentary type of stuff, but even then you're going into your own genre, right? Where editing and video making really matters. Where with that form of commentary and the stuff that you used to do as well, it is first come first serve, right? Like you're making a video on a topic that like thousands of other people will also try and cover, right? Where with the stuff you're currently doing and so many other people are finally starting to do, right? And making these good quality videos. Realistically, there might be some people that have the same opinion, but there's not going to be one video I like. You're always going to have a different opinion on something. You're always going to like something where someone else might not. You're going to have a unique take on that. Where, like, it's not really going to exist elsewhere. Like, people will click on the video and get something that they haven't seen before. Where with commentary, you watch one of their videos, right, for one piece of information, and you never really go back.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Um, and on that, man, I really do appreciate you coming on Trash Talk for like 50 minutes and just like, talking about your content, talking about your past and stuff. And I wish you well.
Yeah, bro, it's been a while because my ass is sticking to my fucking shorts, so I'm sweating in this room.
But man, I do appreciate you coming on, and thank you everybody for watching this episode of Trash Talk. If you did enjoy, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. But I've been your host Samuel, and I will catch you in the next episode of Trash Talk.